Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's Safeoclock Health and Safety Interactive Workshop. My name is Johnson Wala, and like our culture has always been, we'll start with a presentation, a brief presentation for the topic, and after that, we go into discussions, sharing our experience and learning from each other. So today's topic is summer heat, the individual adaptation strategies. So we've heard a lot of seminars, we've attended a lot of trainings about heat stress, management of heat. But today, I want us to focus more on individual strategies to adapt to heat, especially people who reside in hot environments or countries where the heat wave is high. So you should generate or you should be able to adapt, build up individual strategies for you to adapt to this heat or to this hot climate. So that is what we want to be discussing today. And after the few minutes presentation, we'll be able to share our experience and share our individual knowledge to enlighten others, especially people who are new in hot climates or people who are new in countries that are hot like Qatar. So this is an opportunity for you to learn and share your experience as well. So in this brief presentation, we'll look at the definition of summer heat, and we look at how this summer heat affects our lives, and then we'll go into individual strategies for adapting to summer heat. All right, so summer is a word that everybody is conversant with, but it comes with warm season. It's that season of the year that is warmer than other seasons, and it's classified by the condition of the earth near the sun. So during the summer, the earth axis, it ticks to about 23.5 degrees. So there's an adjustment of the position of the earth adjacent to the sun to the degree of about 23.5 degrees. And this is why those countries or those locations that are facing the sun at that particular time experiences hot weather. And the northern hemispheres experiences this summer between June and September, while the southern hemisphere experiences this summer season between December and March. Okay, so this is how it comes about. It's all about the rotation of the earth near the sun, and why the earth has tilted towards an angle, then the sun becomes intense in that direction. That is exactly what happens. All right, so now let's look at some of the effects of this summer heat. How does it affect the environment, or how does it affect us individually? The first one is it has a direct impact to our lives. There's heat-related illness that comes as a result of exposure to warmer seasons or warmer climate, such as heat strokes, heat exhaustion, dehydration. So these are some of the illnesses that could come as a result of exposure to hot weathers. The other one is discomfort and low productivity. When you are discomforted, when you are not comfortable in your work location because of the heat, then invariably you will be having low production. You will not be giving in your best. Then the vulnerable population, like the children, the elderly ones, they are at high risk because of the increase in the heat wave. There are other environmental consequences. We have disruption in the ecosystems, the wildlife. When the weather is very hot, the wildlife, they find it difficult to cope. The plant life, they find it difficult also to cope. In agricultural practices, some livestock, some crops cannot cope because of the weather, because of the heat. In water resources as well, there could be deficiency or decrease in water supply due to the continuous evaporation of the water from the environment because of the high temperature. Also, this summer heat affects, contributes to climate change. Extreme weathers, you see that the climate change that the entire world is talking about is attributed to extreme weathers. It's attributed to extreme heat. Then the other one is a feedback loop. When the temperature is very high and there could be direct release in the greenhouse gases, which will invariably affect the ozone layers, and this will as well increase the temperature on the earth. So these are some of the ways that the summer heat affects our lives and the environment. Now let's dive into the individual strategies for adapting to summer heat. Because in this presentation today, we'll be focusing on what you need to do individually or what you can do by yourself to reduce the effect of this summer heat, especially if you reside in Middle East or you reside in the countries where the heat wave at this moment is very high. The first one that you need to do is to stay hydrated. Hydrated in the sense that you need to drink plenty of water on a daily basis. If you are engaged in sporting activities or you are just walking, you need to drink plenty of water. On the AC. So the other thing that you need to do is you need to avoid alcohol that could lead to dehydration. Consumption of alcohol will increase the dehydration rate of the body system. The other thing that you should do is to adjust your schedule, limiting your outdoor activities. If your activities are more in the afternoon, you can adjust your schedule, do more of it in early morning when the heat is still very low. Take frequent breaks. When you are working at work or at home or during sporting activities, take frequent break. Frequent break will help you to reacclimatize. It will help you to re-energize. It will help you to get yourself back. So taking frequent break, taking water will help you stay hydrated. Adjusting your schedule, limiting your outdoor activities to cooler time, especially in the morning hours or late in the evening hours when the weather is calm, so you can undertake your outdoor activities. The other thing that you can do is you need to dress appropriately. When we talk of appropriately, we mean during summer, lightweight clothing are preferable because it will help in the ventilation, it will help in the air circulation within the body. Light-colored clothes also is recommended because it will help in the reflection of the light instead of absorption of the heat in the body. Loose-fitted clothing is also recommended because it will aid ventilations and air circulation within the body. Use hats or umbrellas to create your own shade while walking outside. Let's look at the other strategies that we can also include in our adaptation to summer heat. Cooling techniques. You can use fans, use air conditioning systems, take cool showers during the hot weather, hot afternoon. You can take cool showers and to help you lower your body temperature. You can apply cold clothes on your wrist or on your neck. This will help you to lower your body temperature and ensure that you are not that hot. The other thing you can do is sun protection. Applying sunscreens while you are going outside to prevent sunburn. Wearing sunglasses, this will help to reduce the effect of UV radiations getting in contact with your eyes. The other strategy that you could use is eat light. Eating light food or light meals will help in easy metabolism. And this will help you to ensure that you are not so heavy. And in contrast, you are able to digest your food easily. Stay informed. Informed in the sense that check weather forecast. In each day before you leave for the day, check your weather forecast and check what the temperature will be at a particular time so that you'll be able to plan yourself and know what you expect on that particular day. The other thing is what I termed be heat smart. Recognize the signs of heat related illness, because some people could be facing heat stress thinking that is a normal illness. In some situations, some of the signs and symptoms of heat stress could also be associated to other illnesses. For example, headache. You could be feeling headache and you might be thinking maybe you are having fever without knowing that you are passing through a stage of heat stress. And taking Panadol and stopping the headache will not alleviate the signs of the heat stress. It will just elevate you from that headache, but the heat stress is still there. So understanding the signs and the symptoms of heat-related illness will help you know when you are getting heat stressed. So you plan your day ahead, check the weather forecast, avoid excessive alcohol consumption. During summer season, it's not a time to take alcohol or to drink alcohol from morning till night, because alcohol helps in dehydration. So taking alcohol excessively could worsen heat stress situations. You can adjust your sleep schedule. You can sleep in cooler nights. If maybe you are doing night shift duties, in order to ensure that you have sufficient rest, you can adjust your duties to enable you sleep well at night. Now, you have to monitor yourself. Because we are dealing with individual adaptation to heat stress, you should be the one to monitor yourself, monitor your condition, know when you are being heat stressed or not. Understand the signs and the symptoms of different stages of heat stress or heat-related illness. So we'll just look at heat exhaustion and heat stroke. So in heat exhaustion, you'll be feeling dizzy. You'll have a lightheaded or fainting confusion or your disorientation. You'll have headache. You'll have vision changes. Your vision could be, it will look like you are seeing double. Excessive sweating. You'll be sweating excessively when you are facing heat exhaustion. Chest discomfort and labored breathing. Your breathing will be very heavy. You'll feel difficult in breathing. You have muscle cramps and abdominal pain, and there will be weakness. You will feel very weak during that heat exhaustion. Now, if nothing is done, if you are not able to control your temperature, drink sufficient cool water or do the normal thing you are supposed to do, it could get to the next stage of heat illness known as the heat stroke. So the signs associated with these strokes include loss of consciousness. See, the person could just fall or faint. The person could go into seizure. You'll be start shaking and showing strange behaviors. The temperature will be very high, so elevated. Then the person will have difficulty in breathing. The next thing is persistent vomiting. He will be vomiting all the time, and the body becomes hot and red. So at this particular time, if nothing is done immediately or urgently, it could lead to a serious issue. So That is one thing that you need to understand. Understand the symptoms and the signs associated with this heat-related illness. So in that situation, you are monitoring yourself. You are aware of the signs and symptoms. And when you identify them, you're able to take immediate action. What are the actions that you need to take? You need to inform the emergency services of your country. If you're in Qatar, you need to call 999 immediately. And if you observe somebody showing this type of symptoms, you need to call emergency services immediately, because you are not permitted to give anything by the mouth at that time. When the person is already unconscious and when the person is having seizures, whatever you give could cause more problems. So you need to call emergency services so that the fluid getting into the body system could go through other means. Okay, now one important thing that you need to do in your personal adaptation to summer heat is what we refer to as acclimatization. For you, if you are getting into a location or a country that is very hot from a country that is not too hot, you should acclimatize gradually. If this is your first time of in Middle East or maybe in Qatar, you need to acclimatize gradually. What do I mean by acclimatization? Gradual exposure of yourself to the sun, gradually, so that your body system will become used to that weather and used to the environment. For instance, if you have a job that you need to do outside, you don't just go out immediately and walk straight 10 hours. You follow practical acclimatization strategies. For example, you could come to work the first day, you work for 4 hours. You are trying to gradually bring your body system to get used to that environment. Then the next day you come to work, you can work for like 6 hours. Then the next day you come, you can work like 7 or 8 hours. So gradually you are getting used to that environment and to the hot weather. Because if you don't take it gradually this way, you could immediately face heat-related illness because your body system is not used to that temperature. So you need to gradually expose yourself to that temperature in order to ensure that you're able to stand it. So that is my final point in individual strategies for adapting to summer. And like we always do in this our workshop, we give room for everybody to share their individual experiences so that we learn from each other. So this is not just a place where one person speaks from the beginning to the end. So thank you for your time, and it's time to hear from others. Okay, so the floor is open now for individual contribution.
Hello.
Hello. Go ahead. Who is speaking?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good afternoon. Good morning, depending on where you are.
Okay, Mr. Andrew.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Johnson, for the wonderful presentation. Yeah, I will start with my own experience. I believe for me, I've experienced heat stress. I will not say it's heat stroke, but it was heat exhaustion. The situation is between life and death. When you experience it, I've experienced it because when I first came to Qatar, I didn't immediately start HSE job. So then I was also trying to, get my feet. Then I was doing other mina job. Precisely, it was in West Bay where we had the job, and then I don't really have much awareness about heat stress, heat stroke, and all, but I have little idea. So when it happened to me, I was able to, from training like that, is why it's very important for people to listen to such training in case when we have in the personal attack, we should know what to do and even prevent it altogether. So my story is like when I start noticing that I am not myself, but I cannot explain. Like I'm feeling dizzy, I'm becoming hypertensive, I'm feeling hot, I'm feeling like everything was just happening at the same time. So the only thing that was coming to my mind was just to fall. So then I was struggling. Nobody around me, I couldn't even speak to because it was a very big environment. Everybody is just on his own, no much monitoring or supervision of HSE. So what I did, I struggled to find where I had there is water. The water is not too cold, so I managed to take the water. And I find a fan, this industrial fan. I just lay there. So I slept. The fan was just blowing, even if it's not too uh, cold, but it was just I was just there. That was how I slept off from that situation. So when I woke up, I was still feeling a bit dizzy and a bit confused. So from then, I know what it is. When I became, when I started the job properly, I never allow it to happen to any of my workers. I make sure I follow them up. And again, this training is very important. We make our people aware in our various workplaces, even at home. And you can see what is going on this in every part, most part of the world today because of this climate change, high temperature where they don't experience much heat before they are experiencing. Even in the USA, I can see in the news where people face heat exhaustion and die, and people going for a pilgrimage in Mecca. This period, we have had news of people passing away, losing their life because of heat-related illness. So individual strategy to avoid all this is very important. To avoid people get stuck, you should plan where you are going to, you are visiting. You should learn about this condition of the environment and especially this summer season. People should be a bit careful. So it's a very good one, and we should keep passing the message on. That is it from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Andrew. Thank you for sharing your experience. And like they say, experience is the best teacher. So with people who have not experienced it, it looks like heat stress or heat-related illness is just a joke. It's not. It's really a serious thing. There was one project I was working on. One director, the guy that had this heat stress was a director. He was a director of one of the subcontractors. So he came to the site and he immediately went straight to the site. He didn't undergo the induction, and it was during summer season. So the next thing we heard was that somebody raised the alarm and started calling for emergency. So when we reached there, everybody was surprised to see him. He was already on the ground. He's losing consciousness. So this is not a respecter of position. Heat stress cannot respect you because you're a safety officer or you are a manager or you're an engineer. So it's something that can happen to anybody if you don't follow this individual strategies. So that is why we are bringing up this topic so that we don't think that heat stress is just a joke or maybe something that doesn't exist. All right, so the floor is open for others. Let's hear your experience and your contribution. Go ahead and unmute and continue, no problem. We have a lot of people here. Let's hear your individual experience. Mr. Sammy, are you there?
Yes.
Go ahead, go ahead. Let's hear.
Okay. So regarding the heat stress, as you know that in these 3 months the weather is very hot, and this time HSC department is in peak time, and we have to take care of extra care of the people. Basically, the person who is newly joining and they are not familiar with this kind of weather, they are facing mostly the heat stress cases. But the people are habituate and they are working long time and they are familiar with the heat stress, so they don't have much problem. But moreover, we need to take care of each and everybody. So while we are working here in Star Saudi Arabia, so our strategy to avoid the heat stress, and our goal is to everybody hydrate always. So what we are doing, we are always conducting drills, and we are conducting toolbox talk to give awareness to the people. And also as a safety initiative, we are distributing some waters with the ORS to drink people, to give awareness among the workers to be hydrated. Okay, also we have a support from the management related the heat stress case, and they are also supporting us to manage the heat stress cases, to reduce the heat stress cases. So in this situation, we all safety department in here in Saudi Arabia, especially as you know that Francis is our coordinator. So as per his support, also we are doing well, and we are day by day we are reducing the heat stress case. For example, last week we get 16% heat stress cases in a one day, and nowadays we are receiving 3 4 approximately like that. Why? Because our safety guys are there. They are very active. They are very hardworking, and they are providing the precautions which is requirement for the heat stress cases. They are fulfill the requirement and they implement our plan. That's it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sami, for that contribution. We know Saudi is just as hot as Qatar. So whatever strategy that the government is is also reflecting in Saudi. So
Correct.
do you have restricted working hours, just like we have in Qatar?
Yes, we have a circular from our HR department, which is in line with the Saudi law, that 12 to 3 we have a break time. So 12 to 3, no one is allowed to work direct under the sunlight. And this we fully implemented at our yard. And also we have a Saudi law, and also we are working under the port. So port authority is also there to monitor these things.
Okay, that's great. So because when I check the weather condition or the temperature for the day, you find out that within that period is the peak period. So between in Qatar is between 10 and 3. So that is the peak period of the sun. So the law is right in trying to restrict working hours and working on that direct sunlight. And this will help to ensure that the people are not exposed to that peak period or the peak time when the sun is too high. So thank you for your contribution. So let's get one or two more contributions before we call it a day.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, you are loud and clear.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you. I don't know what's happening to my network today.
I can hear you. Go ahead, David.
Frozen. I don't know if you can hear me because your picture is.
David, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. We can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr.
Maybe
Tim.
since we cannot hear him, I would just like to contribute something based on. I think
Yeah.
you said it all right from the beginning, and you know what I notice mostly that happens is once the management fail in the system, that's when we see a failure in the system. So it is very important we have developed and implement a comprehensive heat threat prevention program, which is supposed to be done by the management, as in having the policy, the procedure, training of the employee, which is very important because they need to know these things. We cannot just push them to go work, push the workers to work, and they are not being trained. They don't even know what is heat stress. They don't know what heat stress related illness are. So these are the areas the management needs to look at. We need to look at that from the top side before coming to even the workers itself, before they know, before they can be aware, before they create the awareness, before they know that, okay, heat stress, this is what heat stress is, this is what heat related illness is. So that training, the policy needs to be there, the procedure needs to be there. We need to provide enough resources for them, for the workers, like you said, having cool drinking water, shaded areas, monitoring the weather. This has to come from the management as well, not the workers knowing that, because they need to know when there will be red flag, when they need to work, when the temperature is high, who is monitoring that, conducting regular inspections, risk assessment. We, the leaders ourselves, we need to support the employers, the worker themselves, so that they are aware of these things. So this is just the area I want to contribute to all what you have said. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Tim, for that wonderful contribution. It's critical that management needs to be fully involved, because if management is not involved, or if management is not accepting for workers to take frequent break, or maybe comply with the legal regulations as per the break in working time, so it will be difficult to control heat-related illness in the workplace. So just like you said, it's critical, and it's very important that the top management should be fully involved and should be aware of these control measures to reduce heat stress illness. All right, thank you very much for your contribution. Mr. David, check if you're okay now. You can go ahead.
All right. Can you hear me? Am I audible now?
Yes, can hear you.
All right, thank you. First and foremost, the topic is a very special topic. That's why I promised myself that there is no way I will be able to miss out from today's webinar. Just try my best to participate, to learn one or two things. And so those who are aspiring to work in the GCC region, please, I would advise you rewatch the recorded session of this webinar. Is very key. I think in my last interview I had around one of the GCC country, I don't want to mention, this was a question I was asked, during the heat stress season. How do you manage the heat stress? Where I had to go about, sharing my previous experiences, like I've worked in the UAE, I've worked in Iraq, explaining the heat stress management system. You said, I think, over 90% of the heat stress controls, implementation. I just want to say, based on practical implementation on site, just to give an addendum, an addendum. Regarding, just to mention a few controls, we implement, maybe perhaps was skipped. For example, we have these urine charts that we post at prominent places, more especially in the toilets. When workers go to urinate, they can take a look at the chart. The chart gives a chronological order of the color of your urine. So it helps you to determine if your urine is light, means you are hydrated, but if it's dark yellow, it shows you are really dehydrated. So you need to go and consume lots of water at that moment. Then secondly, during the heat stress period, like you have explained, the commitment of senior management, they need to ensure that they provide, just like PPE, which is mandatory, they provide for every worker. They need to make sure that they provide water bottle for each worker, so that there is no excuse to say, oh, I don't have something to get water, for them to take water frequently and at intervals. So it's the responsibility of management to provide that water bottle. It's not just the water can, but they should have their own water bottle so they can refill and the cold water and drink whatever they need. The third point is, in the morning, workers are being committed, transported to the site through the shuttle bus or tram bus, and after close of work, they also use this bus to return back to their accommodation. So prior to the heat stress or summer season, is an inspection needs to be performed on all these buses or vehicles through which you transport workers from site to the accommodation, just to ensure that the air conditioning system in these vehicle buses are working, they are functional. Because workers who have been exposed to extreme heat, whenever they are leaving the work area or environment, they need to shade off. They need to cool just to replenish their system. And more so, apart from the cut down of workers consuming calculated drinks like alcohol you earlier mentioned, they also need to eat lots of vegetables. Hello, can you hear me? I just want to be sure I'm heard.
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Hello. Okay. So it's also recommended that during this period, the summer period, workers should consume a lot of vegetables, and fruit, because it contains water, water mineral waters, which help to replenish the system. And one of the reasons why there is dehydration in the first place is due to the fact that the body has lost a lot of water. The body has lost a lot of water. That is what resulted to the heart, breathing rapidly, which leads to any of the illness like heat fainting, exhaustion, and the likes. And lastly, I would want to speak. I think the area of first aid, that should be given whenever there is an heat stress-related illness. Wasn't touched, but it's a very simple process. Whenever a worker experiences heat exhaustion or heat fainting, which is heat sycophants in the work area, what we just simply need to do is to move the involved worker or the victim to a cool shaded place, a cool shaded place like a shelter or something where there is a proper ventilation, of air. And then once the worker is taken there, the next thing you need to do is to loosen his clothing. All right. So lose the button of maybe his coverall, zip it down, just open the part of his chest, for air, for proper air, oxygen, to get to his body so that his body can cool. And the next step is to elevate his leg, to raise his two legs. If possible, you can remove his safety boots. All right, just put it on the ground and keep his leg on top of his safety boot. You just need to um, raise his leg a bit to enable a proper circulation flow of blood the to his head part, towards his head part. Then is also recommended, if that's available, maybe a cloth that is dampened with water, soak with cold water, that you can put on the armpit of the victim, but that's not necessarily mandatory. But if you have that, you can just put on the armpit of the victim while you await the arrival of your site, paramedics or a site doctor to take over from there. But with this first aid, you can be able to resuscitate any heat stress victim. So I would stop here. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. David, for that wonderful contribution. You have done justice to some of the areas that I skipped, and that is very, very appreciated. So thank you very much for your contribution and for that wonderful insight. So this is a minute or 2 minutes past 7. Do we have anybody that want to share, contribute before we call it a day?
Yeah, just a quick one.
Go ahead.
One thing I observed on the field, especially those of us that are exposed to the sun outdoor walking, is most time we don't eat breakfast. Most workers don't eat breakfast before they come to work. So it's very good that we encourage and we ourselves take breakfast, especially if you are going to work under the sun, under the heat, outdoor. Make sure you take breakfast, and also encourage the workers to have their breakfast. It should be a mandatory requirement for everyone, and while we keep the fluid intake level as it takes. So that is my contribution.
Thank you very much, Mr. Andrew. That is very, very important. We observe that most times the workers come to work in empty stomach. So this could also contribute to the heat stress or illness. There's one point that Mr. David raised that I want to reiterate, which could be a good practice that most of us are not practicing at the moment. That is inspection of the workers' buses, especially during this summer, because in some situations you find out that the buses do not have air condition. They leave the windows open while they are returning the workers from work. And the weather is too hot to condone such a environment. So let us put this, if you are not practicing this at the moment, this is a good practice that we can implement, ensure that every vehicle conveying our workers have proper functional air conditioning system. Okay, so that is it. Is there any other contribution before we call it a day?
Johnson.
Yes, sir. Mr. Valentine, go ahead.
Good evening. Good evening, all. Sorry for coming a little bit late, and this is my first time of joining you guys. This is my first time. Just to let you know that the heat in Qatar now, not just in Qatar, across the Middle East, it's significantly very serious. People should take this very important now and pay attention to it. We've had a number of incidents over the last weeks where people collapsed in the night and never woke up, especially with respect to contractors. And just like what Andrew said, I think it was Andrew or David, the replenishment ions is quite important. Whenever you walk, please take a little bit of ions to replenish the lost salt. Otherwise, you have to deal with the consequence of heat exhaustion. And just yesterday, we got to know that there are about 146 people who died in Pakistan on one single day because of heat exhaustion. The same thing, of course, I'm sure you people already know about the situation that happened in Saudi just last week, where they had to bury more than 1,000 people that went for Hajj. So it's very extremely serious. I think this is the hottest year we have recorded, and it's just June. So it's important that you guys started with this, and Johnson already told me that this was something he wanted to take very seriously. For those both within the work circle and outside the work circle, look after your health. If you go to the hospitals now, you see people are just hanging there. It's serious, extremely serious. So that's my own contribution. And this is my first time of joining. Thanks. And I do appreciate, and I will continue to support Safeoclock and Johnson as much as possible. And if you have any comments or anything to add to support, especially the IOSH Qatar branch, I will be happy to take whatever comments you have.
Thank you very much, Mr. Valentine. We are glad to have you with us. And thank you for this privileged information. So, guys, I appreciate all your presence. Weekly meeting is not in vain. I'm sure we are learning one or two things, and we are developing ourselves as well. So I will encourage others who have not been vocal. Please use this as a platform to develop your public presentation. That is one of the reasons why we created this platform, not just for us to one person to present and you listen. Use it as a platform to develop your public presentation, your speech. And so it's within us. If you make if you fumble or you make any mistake, we'll correct ourselves here. So I will encourage us to, we'll share the topic for the week early enough, maybe Mondays, so that if you need to do some research or you need to do anything that will enable you contribute effectively in this platform, is very, very important, so that you learn you develop in public speaking as well as your site competencies. So thank you all for joining today. I really do appreciate, and do have a wonderful night. So thank you, guys. Mr. Sunday, Francis, we didn't hear from you for like 2 weeks now. So
yes, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Okay. So
yes.
Nice to know. Mr. Jonah, I think this is the first time you are joining us. We welcome you. Joseph, I have not seen, I don't know this, Joseph. So thank you for joining today. We appreciate. There's one iPhone. iPhone is not a name, but Mr. iPhone, we are happy to have you with us today. So let's continue to contribute to this platform and this health and safety profession. Everybody needs to be safe, not just at work, also at home. That is why we are encouraging ourselves. All right, guys. Thank you all. And next week, we'll meet again by 6 p.m. Thursday.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed myself here. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you.